Hello, welcome back to English Speaking with Olisa. So today I want us to look at some of the mistakes that we make in everyday speaking. Now, a lot of ESL students often make the same mistake of using the wrong preposition in a phrase or even just rearranging the whole sentence, even though it might mean the same thing, but the phrase itself could be wrong. So this is very common among students. These mistakes are very common, even with native speakers. Sometimes you speak without actually thinking about the structure of the sentence. So today I want us to look at some of these mistakes and how we can actually fix them and how we can use these mistakes to see how we can improve our English speaking skills. So before we get started, if this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button below. But if it's not, welcome back. So the very first sentence that I want us to look at is when someone says, I've been here since 3 months. Okay, so now since is used to show a point in time. Okay, so for example, you can say, since yesterday, since 8 a.m., since last week, but you cannot say, I have been here since 3 months. The correct preposition that you can use in this sentence would be, I have been here for 3 months. Okay, so 3 months, so for 3 months, or for the preposition for is used to show the period of time. So the amount of time that you were at a specific place or at a certain place. So this sentence would be, I have been here for 3 months, not since. So for example, you can use for like for a week, for 2 years, something like that, to show the duration of time that you spent at a place or you spent doing something. Okay, so the very next sentence that I want us to look at is when someone says, when I will arrive, I will call you. So now there is something wrong with the sentence I've just said, because the correct way to say that sentence would be, when I arrive, I will call you. So the reason we do not need to use will is because we can make the sentence using the present sense, simple tense, or present perfect, but not in its future tense, because when you add will, it means you're referring to it in the future. So for example, when you already say when, so it is definite that you will arrive at your house or at whichever place you're going to, so you do not need will. So you have to say, when I arrive, I will call you. So not when I will arrive, I will call you. There is no need to use will because we have already used when to show that I am definitely going to arrive at a certain place and then I will call you. So now most students make this mistake because they want to show that you will arrive in the future, but that's not the case, because when you use when, you are already showing that you will definitely arrive. Okay? So the next sentence we are going to look at is, she was boring in class. Okay? So this sentence is correct depending on the context in which you are using it in. So the only reason I would consider it wrong, it would depend on which context. So the reason I considered it wrong was because I was using it in the context of someone that was attending the class. So if it is someone who is attending the class, you would say she was bored in the class. So you would change bored being the adjective in this case, and to boring if, for example, you are referring to the teacher. So if you're referring to the person that was actually giving the class, then you would use boring. But if you are referring to someone that was attending the class, then you would use bored. So both these sentences are correct. It depends on which context you are using it in. The next sentence I want us to talk about is when someone says, I must to call him immediately. Now, I know I have experience with most of my students. They make the mistake of wanting to add to to every sentence because for them maybe it comes naturally or in their native tongue it is okay to use to in most sentences. But in this case, we can leave it out and say, I must call him immediately. So that is the correct way to actually write this sentence. I must call him immediately, or I must go to school. I must pack my bag. Most students they make the mistake of saying, I must to pack my bag. I must to go and play. Rather leave out the to because in most instances we don't use the word to as often as we would like. So, the very last sentence I want us to look at is when someone wants to talk about something that they have done. So, for example, someone might say, I have visited Canada or I have visited the USA. So, for example, in this case, it's not so wrong that you have to change the whole sentence or rearrange the whole sentence. So it's just a minor change where you have to leave out the word have. So you can just say I visited Canada in 2020 or in 2019, or I have visited Canada. So for example, if you are going to add the year in your sentence, you don't have to use the word have, but if you are going to leave out the year, you can use have. So, for example, if someone says, I have visited Canada in 2020, that sentence is wrong. So, they can either say, I visited Canada in 2020, or I have visited Canada. So that's all for today. It was just a few mistakes that we experience in everyday speaking, especially with my students. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more. So I will see you soon. Thank you.